Hey guys, welcome back to the cottage. Today I'm going to be talking all about how you can simplify meal planning by coming up with a reverse shopping list. So I touched on this subject very briefly in a video I did all about how to save time doing everyday tasks. And I was sort of blown away by how many of you wanted to know more about how to create this reverse shopping list. I got lots of comments and lots of instant messages, and everyone just kind of wanted to know a little bit more. So I thought today would be the perfect time to dive right in and show you how to do that. Now, I have to admit, this video does put me a little bit outside of my comfort zone because I don't see myself as being a great cook. I'm not someone who likes to spend a lot of time in the kitchen. We have very simple taste buds around here. We don't come up with any super extravagant meals. And so I didn't feel overly qualified to share so much about the recipe side of things. But when it comes to productivity, I do feel like I have a little bit of information to share on that topic, and so that's the route we're going with this video. And I'm going to show you how to create your very own reverse shopping list, which will help you to simplify your shopping and your meal prep. So maybe you're feeling like how I was, just sick and tired of spending time in the kitchen, bringing the meal out, setting it on the table, and having people complain about it. There's nothing more frustrating than that. I have 5 kids. All of them have very different tastes in the types of foods that they like to eat. Craig does not complain about food, so he is not the question mark here. It's the kids that really would just be so frustrating to me when I would take all that time and then they would just complain about it. And I finally decided to do something drastic about this by just starting to make meals that I knew people would eat, because I didn't want wasted food, I didn't want complaining about food, and so I just kind of brought it all back, bare bones, to what types of things would we all enjoy eating. So here's what I did. I started with a list of 9 meals that I knew that I could count on my family to all enjoy eating, and I started making them on rotation. So I started on a Monday with meal number 1, worked through the list of 9 meals, and then I started up again on meal 1 and did that again. Now that gets a little bit monotonous, a little bit bland after a while. You keep eating the same foods over and over, and so eventually I added more and more meals to this, and I came up with a series of 6 full weeks worth of meals that I knew my family would eat. Here's an example of one of those lists of meals that I knew my family would like to eat. And I ended up simplifying it even more by coming up with a shopping list that would correlate with each of these weeks worth of meals. And I call this my reverse shopping list, because here's how it works. I basically printed out a hard copy of all the different ingredients that are needed for this specific week's worth of meals. And then when it comes time to go grocery shopping, I simply look at the list, and if it's something I know I already have in my cabinets, in my fridge, I just cross it off. I found this system to also be very helpful in making sure that I go through and rotate through all of the items that I have on hand. I'm not just buying items over and over again. I used to have, for example, I'd go to the store and I'd say, oh, I probably need a can of tomatoes, so I'll pick up a couple cans of tomatoes, come home, only to find out I have 16 cans of tomatoes already sitting in my cabinet. And so this really helps to reduce that, because essentially what you're doing is shopping from what you have on hand first before you go shopping at the store. If you are interested in the 6 weeks worth of meals that I mentioned, I did make blog posts about them way back in 2017, where I created all of the recipes. I shared the reverse shopping list for each of those weeks. You can download those and print them off completely free. I'll have those linked down in the description box. But if you are wanting something specific for your family, I very much encourage you to stick around for the next part of this video, and I'm going to walk you through the steps to create a meal plan list for your specific family and your specific tastes. So the first thing you're going to want to do is grab a piece of paper and then a pen or pencil to write with. I have found that a series of 9 meals pretty much covers my family for an entire week. I'm talking mainly about the evening meal and then a couple extra meals to use on the weekends when my kids are home from school. Usually during the week, my kids are at school. If I pack their lunch, it's usually something very simple that I can whip together with things on hand, or they eat school lunch, and then my husband and I just kind of eat leftovers or whatever we have on hand here at home. So 9 meals is kind of the base of what I like to start with. Now write down 9 circles on the side of your page, and then I like to think about making sure I have a good variety of meals that I will be cooking for the week. I don't want a list that includes a ton of different pasta dishes that are all kind of similar. I like to kind of make sure there's a good variety there. So I have different categories that I'm going to write down: soup with bread, some casseroles, maybe a meat dish with a potato side. Write that down based on your own family's taste buds. Maybe you're a family that really likes sandwiches, or you really like chicken but you don't like ham, or maybe you're vegetarian. You have to make this list based on your own needs and taste buds. And then I go through and I just kind of fill out the different categories with a meal that I think my family would like to eat. And you could repeat this process multiple times until you've come up with many different weeks. But starting out with this system, I would encourage you to start with just 1 week, these 9 meals, and just work with them through rotation until you are sure that everybody in your family will be eating these meals without any complaints. And once you've got your meal list, then all you need to do is simply sit down and write out the different categories that you're going to be shopping for at the store. As you're going through the list and filling it out, if there are certain recipes that call for the same type of things, then just combine them into a total amount. So for example, if you have a dish one night that calls for 4 potatoes, and then you have a soup another night that calls for 2 potatoes, just write that down on your list as 6 potatoes total. And of course, like I mentioned before, when you go shopping at the store, you're likely not going to pick up just 6 potatoes. You're going to pick up an entire 5 pounds, 10 pounds of potatoes. And so when this week comes back around in rotation, if you need those 6 potatoes again and you still have them sitting in your cabinet, then you just cross it off the list. So you're not wasting by buying an entire 10 pounds of potatoes if you know that you're going to be using them in a timely manner. It really is that simple. You don't even need to type anything up, although you can. I prefer to do that myself. But if you have nice handwriting that you can read, you can just take the sheet that has all of these different categories with the ingredients listed on it and put it in a plastic sleeve that you would use for a binder. And the reason that I suggest you do that is because you can use this same sheet over and over again, week after week, by using a wet erase marker. I found that dry erase markers don't work quite as well because they tend to smudge a little bit more easily. So a wet erase marker, and as you're crossing off with this reverse shopping list, you're crossing off the things that you know you don't need to buy. And then when the week is over and you've created all of your meals, you can just simply clean it off and use it again the next week. And when you're ready to create a new week's meal plan, just use these steps again and create yourself another reverse shopping list, and then you will have 2 weeks worth of meals that you can rotate through. For my own family, I've found 6 weeks to be about the perfect amount of meals that I can rotate through without feeling like, we just ate that meal not that long ago. So that's it, guys. I hope that this was informational for you. I hope that this will help you simplify your meal planning and simplify the process of everything that goes into buying the groceries and cooking the meals. And you can feel good about setting down that plate in front of your kids or your husband or your wife, and just know that everyone's going to enjoy it and your time will have been spent wisely. Thanks so much for watching today's video. I hope that you'll stop by the cottage again really soon.